So part two of the Are You Ready to Make Love and our deep dive into sex within the confines of marriage. Josh.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go ahead and take it.
Yeah, man. For those who watched the last video, we talked about the spiritual and the mental components of preparation you must have or question you have to ask yourself in regards to making love in your marriage. And the whole purpose of this talk is to get people to understand that making lust and making love are two totally different things with two totally different expectations and two totally different sources. See what I'm saying? In order to make love, you have to know love. You have to know what love is. You need to walk with God, who is love, to understand the empathetic nature you have to have, the consideration you need to have in order to be pleasing and a pleasure to your significant other, who's your wife or husband. And so what happens for most people, they marry so they don't burn with passion. They make an excuse to get married for the sake of sex, but realize that sex before marriage and sex after marriage, or sexual things before, is not the same when it's with the same person. You see what I'm saying? So today we're going to be talking about the emotional and the physical components of making love in marriage. The emotional one is very deep, so prepare yourselves. We're going to take a deep dive into the emotions because that's the glue that has us attached to things that God wants to detach us from. Now, the first question you have to ask yourself when it comes to the emotional component of making love in a marriage is this: are you emotionally free to make love, or are you still emotionally attached to someone else? Are you emotionally free to make love to your wife or husband, or are you still emotionally attached to someone else? This boils down to soul ties, BD.
Right.
So many people try to get up under somebody new to get over the old. They utilize sex to try to get rid of their ex. They try to go to the next to get rid of their ex, but they realize that you are not going to be of use or benefit or pleasing to someone else if there are an emotional competition with someone that's not present. And so many people are soul tied still to an ex and is hindering their marriage. How many men out there and women out there are making love to their husband or wife with another person in mind? See what I'm saying? There people understand how significant and how complex we as humans are. You have to understand that whoever you've been with or had significant moments with, you're going to have significant memories. And when there's one thing that you can never erase, and that's a memory. And now your husband and wife is competing because you still have an emotional connection to someone else. So the first question, BD, is, are you emotionally ready to make love in marriage? Have you healed up? Because how can you be of help if you're still hurting? Hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. Healed people help people. And if you still got emotional baggage, if you still got emotional attachment to someone else, then you are not ready for someone new. Because there's a lot of people who's married now still emotionally attached to someone else, and they're not free to emotionally love fully, sexually, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually love someone the way they deserve. So that's the first question. And I'm going to see if you have anything to add to that, BD.
Yeah, I mean, sex is a spiritual act. Like, it was designed by God, to be within the context of a marriage, because it is, the physical, manifestation of the man and the woman becoming one. So it's a deep act.
Yeah.
It's a deep act, and our society has devalued it, and, they just make it like it's a recreational thing to do, like going jogging in the park. And, people are walking around when you lay down with that person, like, yeah, you're in the act of becoming one with that person. You're taking a part of them with you. So you're holding on to that, and you're going to your next relationship. And like you said, like, there's a reason why when you're in a relationship, the relationship changes after y'all go to that level.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. So when you've gone to that level with a person and then you get out of that relationship, that's why people try to run and lay down with somebody else so quickly, because that, you know what I mean? They're feeling it. Like, you feeling it in a different way versus if you never, went to that level with that person, it's easier to move on. So people run and try to, get in bed with somebody else, I guess, to fill that void that they're missing now. And it just makes it worse. Now you're with somebody you haven't taken the time to properly vet to see if they're compatible with you. You're just jumping into bed with somebody else. Now you're dealing with all the people that they dealt with. You're dealing with the stuff from your past. And it's just it's just a mess. So absolutely, you need to make sure that you are emotionally ready, to get in another relationship. You need to take some time, okay, to make sure that you're good, to make sure that you spend the time with God, to make sure that you, look at the lessons that you need to learn from the past relationship so that you don't make those same mistakes when you choose the next person that you're going to, pursue in a relationship.
Yeah, you have to be at an emotional ease to sexually please your significant other. You see what I'm saying? You can't be emotionally restless, emotionally bruised, wounded, saddened, so caught up in just hoping that this person will be significant enough to make you forget that insignificant moment you had with a specific individual. And so many people do that. I counsel people, I coach people, I hear it all the time. You with this person. I had talked to people who was about to get married and they still bringing up their ex's name. It's because they never got the opportunity, or they never gave themselves the opportunity to emotionally vent, man. You got to get over that person. God is the only one that can really help you process those emotional intricacies. You see what I'm saying? Those emotional webs, man. And you got to go all the way to the conception. You got to jump over that significant sexual act with your ex and go all the way to the beginning where your insecurities and your inadequacies were born. You see what I'm saying? Because the only reason why people are looking for significant situations and specific individuals sexually, because they're trying to erase what happened in their family lives, or what happened when they was younger. And because they're insecure and they never had attention from a woman before, and it took that one woman to mess up his mind, now he's crazy, and now he's out there trying to hurt as many women as possible. Then when it's time for him to settle down, he never healed in the process. Or a woman who felt disgusted from that rape or that molestation, and now she is inwardly triggered to look for love from someone else who is masculine because of what happened to her whenever she went through. And now you got all these complicated stuff happening. And then what even makes it worse, you think you're ready for marriage. And now you got 16 people involved in your marriage, 4 people involved in your marriage. You're expecting all those personalities to dwell in the same place cohesively? Emotions are deep. They're indicators of a present mood. If you want to be at emotional ease, you have to be mentally renewed. You have to look at that significant moment, look at that situation and say, God, show me how to remember. Help me to remember differently. Help me to let that person go. Forgiveness is a powerful word, BD. It's 2 words, for and give. If you want to forgive, forgiveness is giving you the opportunity to go forward. Right. So if you're still dwelling on an ex, or you still dwelling on, because so many people, they're waiting on vindication. They're waiting on vengeance. So their new boyfriend or new girlfriend is just trying to let the other person know that they moved on. We see through it all. We just saw last week on Instagram, you had bae number 1. And now we scroll and we see bae number 2.
Right.
You moving on too quick, young blood. Young lady, you moving on too quick. You got to deal with those emotional wounds, because one thing a real man and a real woman do not have time for is helping you unpack your bags. Exactly. God is the only one that should be unpacking that baggage. We don't got time. Men of God, women of God do not have time to deal with your daddy issues on both sides. Dealing with, we're talking about men and women, because men got daddy issues too, because their daddy wasn't there and then they have issues in life. We don't got time to deal with the complicated situations you had with your sexuality or with this other person. No, you got to go to God, boo-boo.
Yeah, that's not our responsibility. That was before we came along. And so, that's the best way to chase away when you finally do find that good guy, that, that woman of virtue. That's the best way to chase them away, is to come with your baggage and your insecurities and your problems from your previous relationships. And they're like, I'm not about to deal with that. Because I know what I'm about. I know what my purpose is. I know, what I'm about. So I'm not, you worried about where I'm going. I'm going to church it's Wednesday night. I'm going to church.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to the gym, I'm going to work out. Like you're not about to badger me with all your insecurities because of something that you experienced in the past because you chose to lay down with this dude, and now that you holding on to them soul ties, I don't have time for that.
Listen, it's no coincidence that we just passed the 35th minute. I don't know how this video is going to be edited, but it reminds me of Kevin Durant. What happens to most people is they get injured in love and then they expect to play in 4 to 6 weeks. When if you injure, you got to let that injury heal. KD got hurt, got rushed back to the court, got hurt again, now out for a whole year. Could it be that you single because you tried to get back in love and made a sprained ankle into something worse? So what happens is you got to sit you behind that bench and get healed. Take your rehab. Do what you got to do. So that when you come back on the court, you don't have to worry about being injured again. And don't listen to other people. That's just a calf injury. That's just a little injury. We need you out here. Mama talking to you, talking about, I'm wanting grandbabies. Dad talking to you, talking about, I want grandbabies. Don't let nobody.
Thank you all so much for watching the Good Guys Podcast here on my YouTube channel. If you haven't already yet, make sure you subscribe to the Good Guys Podcast here. If you want to enjoy the rest of the content of this podcast, click this video over here. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, a thumbs up. If you're watching this on Facebook, head over to YouTube right now. Type in the Good Guys Podcast. We'll love to see you over there. Subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, thumbs up. We'll see you over there soon.